Tremaine the album. Let me remind you again that I am an OG fan. I'm trying to look out for us. And I want my artists to be more on top of the world, okay? Let me remind you, I love Dr. Taylor. I love Mr. Songz, okay? Okay. When you hear the name Tremaine, what does it make you feel? It's like Tremaine is a strong name. It kind of gives something solid, and the name itself is a bold statement in itself, right? It doesn't feel like just a name or just the name of the album. It's like Tremaine kind of means like it's as bold as a lion. That's what you think of when you hear the name Tremaine. It's strong, as bold as a lion. It's like a striking rock. That's what I think of when I hear the name Tremaine. It's like a striking rock. Okay? And this is where I expected to really see his musicality and multiple themes in the song. This is where I thought we would be talking about all this. Okay? So I expected more real life compassion and that revolutionary conversations that sparks something again. Like the underdog mentality, those things that he showed us in the beginning. Those were my expectations before I engaged with the album, right? Now let's talk about what actually was on the album. Like, I love Dr. Taylor. I love Mr. Songz. I really care about the music, okay? Okay. We started off the album, like the prelude was just beautiful. There was a lot of themes to unpack. It gave us a feel for the album, and I love how lyrically rich it was. I was just as excited for the Tremaine album as I was for the Trigger album, okay? But it was disappointing. It was disappointing. It's like the excitement cracked and cracked and cracked. It was really sad. But you see, we started off so serious and self-reflective and emotional in the story of Tremaine, right? And I think personally, one of the earlier songs should have been Find a Place from Anticipation 2 on the Tremaine album. It should have been Find a Place. Like, it had that serious kind of emotion in his voice, and it was flawless. That would have been a good Tremaine album introduction. Maybe song 2 or 3. That would have set the tone for the more serious themes that we got into in this album, right? Let's talk about the songs. Animal. I supported it because he's the example, but I understand for marketing it was on the album, and I want my artist to win. It's a catchy song, but strictly speaking, it's not Trigger album or Tremaine album attitude. It's not either. So it should have been a single. And was that Bruno Mars type of melodies or harmonies? I don't know what you call it. But was it like Bruno Mars type of melodies or harmonies? Because it threw me off. It threw me off. The song doesn't show off his musicality or voice. It doesn't show off his innovativeness. It's not a type of song that set the trends for other musicians at all. It was on the album for other reasons, and it's the most viewed video for other reasons. It had nothing to do with music at all. Okay? It should not have been on the album. Okay. One by One. One by One was a much better song. That was Tremaine attitude. I like One by One for this album because it reinforces the Playboy concept. And it's a great song. It felt distinguished and more excellent than Animal. And it should be earlier in the album. It reminds me of Don't Be Scared from chapter 5, emotionally. It reminds me of Don't Be Scared. What Are We Here For? It's very sad to say that I probably wouldn't listen to it again because this was like pop, right? But like today's pop. So maybe for people who are younger than me, they would maybe like it. It was not a pure sound. It did not feel pure at all. So the songs that actually should have been on Tremaine: One by One, Song Goes Off, She Lovin' It, Nobody Else But You, Break From Love, Playboy, and Come Over. Those should have been on Tremaine album. The rest of the songs should have been on a Trigger Part 2 mixtape because it was a similar attitude as Trigger. Like Picture Perfect was a Trigger song. Those songs were not Tremaine attitude. Like I got more gold chains than these dope dealers. That's Trigger. That's Trigger attitude. And it's true because dope dealers do not make money here and their customers keep asking for a discount. So the profit margin is too low. So, but that's Trigger attitude. You see, that's Trigger attitude. So the ideal album for Tremaine, the album, would have been those 7 songs. Playboy was a beautiful, serious song. We brought in self-reflection and thinking more about life and what the inner being is saying. Like as it relates to romantic relationships and relations in terms of that, but also it's giving parts of yourself like affection away in meaningless ways because you're receiving no internal emotional gratification from it, right? So it's a serious song and it shows how intellectually bright they are. It was very smart in the way it took a playful concept, something that people are envious about, and other people see it as glamorous, and they introduce seriousness about it with the advantages and disadvantages on one song. So the depth of thought was there, self-reflection was there. You made us see that even though dudes may want to be a playboy, it's not all glamorous, and there are other emotions that people may not be totally aware of that you'd experience from this kind of concept, right? And that's what the song gave, all encompassing. Okay. And then Come Over. Come Over initiates a pivot and we get more serious with the story. This is where we moved beyond romance because we talked about loneliness, and it's a vulnerable emotional song and the demands of life and like the lack of comfort and compromising for a career. We all can relate to that. We all can relate to that. It's like you're not shying away from life's demands, but you're stepping up to the plate and handling life so you can take care of everyone around you. But at the same time, you have this issue of loneliness and wanting the comfort of another human being who you helped before and still willing to help in life. But also, it shows selflessness because if the person cannot come over, we are still showing understanding and putting what you want last to accommodate somebody else again. It's just a very beautiful, thoughtful song that captures the human experience in the most magnificent way. So after Come Over, we should have started to see a shift to outside of self. Okay, like talk to other people, talk to us again. From here, we needed to show that we're now more than a playboy. We still are that, but we also take the serious things of life seriously, you know? So we should have had some soulful pop or soulful rock, classic R&B, soul, gives substance and even more beauty to our listening experience. Then we should have had a song. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. We should have had a song where the girl actually comes over, but she couldn't come over earlier because she had real life problems. But it won't be a freaky song, right? It has to be sweet and supportive, and you're gonna tell us what you appreciate about her and not her body, okay? Like old school classic R&B and clean, and you're trying to win her affection or appreciating her affection and comfort. We haven't heard this. I don't think we've heard this too much from Dr. Taylor and Mr. Songz. We haven't heard this kind of thing a lot in the music, right? So this would have been extremely shareable because of the cleanness. All dudes will be playing this for their girls globally. We'll play it in all the corporate spaces, in the malls, everywhere. Okay? So we should have had that. Let's continue with the story of this hypothetical album. The next day, you go outside, we see happy couples everywhere, and girls are trying to be all up on you while you're outside, and you're still figuring out this Playboy thing. And this could have been a contemporary R&B or hip-hop song. Like, while you're outside, you see a girl there crying, and then you tell us her life story or what broke her heart, right? In the soul blues genre. From the female perspective, because we haven't heard that from them, right? Like, this would be very relatable for heartbroken girls and give her like advice, like make her feel beautiful inside despite what happened to her. You see, we are outside of ourselves. Like, other people have stories that need to be talked about in the music, and we could have shown this on the Tremaine album, right? Like, we could have had one more song of humanness and compassion for us at the bottom of the world in the old school R&B, the classic R&B genre. And then we could have had one more song, which is like motivation for young people. Maybe rap, contemporary R&B, maybe some real motivation in terms of fighting through a world that gives hate. Like feeding our mind, make us feel confident and strong to take on the world. Like that's so Tremaine. That is so Tremaine. Like, we could have had maybe another romantic song when you go back home after your day of being in the community, and dealing with and seeing other people's situations. You go back home, and then we can show like you have a friendship with the person you're in love with, and you appreciate their company. That would have been a perfect ending to the Tremaine album. Because you'd be reflecting that you're a playboy and you were lonely on Come Over. You saw other people's situations. Now you appreciate the girl for being there for you. And you still can't decide if you want to be a playboy or not. This could be old school or classic R&B in a romantic sense with cleanness. See? The seriousness of life would be very present on the album. We'd see compassion. We'd have multiple genres to enjoy with relatable stories and lyrics and themes. You could show us your revolutionary side again a little bit more. Show us you're more than a playboy, which is what we grappled with in the song, right? That you're aware that young people look up to you. That's Tremaine attitude. It is a statement. Tremaine is a serious name. Tremaine is a statement. That could have been a statement. You know, and since like I know they like doing multiple genres in one album, and this like the solutions I gave takes that into consideration too. Like they did multiple genres in one album. That would have been everything we needed and more globally. Globally, we would have not stopped playing it, especially here. It would have been so sufficient and beautiful. And it would have been the soundtrack of our lives here. Because you picked on people's problems and talked about it in the album. Right? We would have felt even more connected to the music. Do you see how much they can do? Do you see how much I believe in them? Like, you see how much of global influence, how much more global influence they can have overnight. Even in multiple spheres, just by changing the themes, message, lyrics to accommodate us a little bit in the music. I get you out the matrix. I get you out the matrix. Call me Mr. Anderson, I'm rambling. The sheets still. The song was anatomically and vocally beautiful, and the production was gorgeous. It was like 6 minutes, but it should not have been on Tremaine album as it is. If it was lyrically richer, it would have been more appropriate for the Tremaine album. Maybe it was meant to be a really long interlude because it was not lyrically adequate enough to be a song. Maybe it was a really long interlude and you guys knew this, but I'm just slow and I just didn't understand. Maybe it's me, okay? But we do need a song like this again with a cleaner theme, romantic, not sexual. In fact, it could be a theme like you want this girl to be your girlfriend and you're trying to pursue her. That kind of song. That kind of song. It would overtake the world immediately. It would overtake the world immediately. Because it's so beautiful. It is so beautiful. Y'all gonna say I have beef with the album? Huh? Y'all are gonna say I have beef with the album? It's Tremaine. It's Tremaine. Like, Tremaine is a statement of a name. I hold them to the highest of standards. And my excitement was just as great for Tremaine, the album, as it was for the Trigger album. The cover picture for Tremaine, it was prestigious. He was still playful, but it also gave the R&B royalty. Like, that's what it gave. Every bit of R&B royalty that he is. He absolutely is. But the music didn't really match the cover picture. Okay. My excitement cracked and lowered and lowered as I listened. Maybe here is where I started to separate from the music, because it's like I didn't really know their musicality anymore. So it kind of threw me for a loop. Like, where's Tremaine the album for real? Where's the real Tremaine the album? Where is the prestigious music for this album with globally relatable themes that's too beautiful to ignore? Where are the musicians that I know that they are? Like, I expected the majesty of their music to be fully showcased here. That's what I expected. Real R&B sounds, maybe even like a soul song. We should have had a song here about God being in the Strugg life with us, helping us in the Strugg life. Because there was a song like that before about God. And they seem to have some reverence for God, from what I remember. Like when they got us from the My Moment episodes. So it's a valid expectation. Like, remember, I'm not pulling these things from my imagination. They've done it before, or they've said it before somewhere. Which is what raised the expectations, okay? That's the majestic musicality that I expected on Tremaine the album. And the thing is that they are bright and they are intelligent and creative and innovative, and they create new sounds too. So this body of work, Tremaine the album, this body of work, it doesn't represent that too much. Like everything I showed us on Tremaine, we did all of it with you on Trigger. People of our dreams in the bed with us. Models in the bed with us. Fast cars. Like, finally reaching our dreams and enjoying ourselves there. Like, we did that with you already. So it's like we're repeating that. As listeners, we don't like repetition like that. We want our artists to grow with us. We want our musicians to grow with us. We want the music to grow with us. Okay. So I started questioning myself here, right? It seemed like they don't want to talk to us. They don't want to talk to real people. They don't want to talk to Strugg life people like me. They don't want to talk to us anymore and tell our stories. They don't want to relate to us in the music anymore. It's like me and the music became strangers now, because the connection seemed to have faded with this album. You know? Like, and it's disappointing because he seemed really sincere on top of the world. Right? They seemed really sincere on top of the world. So there's some kind of compassion and depth that they still are able to write from, but they just don't. They were like saying on top of the world, they were like saying, I'm not just trying to make a better life for myself. I'm doing something here that everyone who was in my position can follow from and relate to, especially the youth. And that's why we followed. That's why we followed. It was nice for an artist to continuously give that message. It did create a sense of community because he spoke to the underdog in an individual that has the sense of community responsibility. So it was disappointing in a few ways, but they can always make another album with all the things that the listeners expect, and all of these ideas that I've given, right? For me, I like Playboy. I like One by One, and I like Come Over. Those were the diamonds of the lot, right? Like, I talked about Come Over so many times on my channel because it was the most relatable song for me, right? It was well intentioned. Come Over, it was being lonely and wanting the company of another outside of work and normal social life and family. And even though we want the company of this person that we find our rest in, actually, we still understand that if they can't come over, we understand. And it's like speaks to humanness. And even though we run our own stuff and try to get money and all that, it's like too much sometimes. And we just need to turn off all our phones and breathe without the pressures of life. It's like a longing for quietness. And you find this quietness in a person. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Come Over is beautiful. Come Over. It felt like Lionel Richie. I don't know why. I cannot explain why. But it felt like Lionel Richie. Just beautiful. It was kind of a similar kind of calmness and humanness. It felt welcoming. Like a warm hug. You know? In my dreams, I kissed your lips 1,000 times. So come over. Baby, come over. Baby, I need you. It sounds like it fits, doesn't it? Like, that was Lionel Richie, hello. But it sounds like it fits. Tremaine. A striking rock. As bold as a lion. Like, Tremaine the album, maybe I expected more depth and weightiness in the music, but it was just surface level stuff for the most part. In the valley of my world. See, that's the kind of music that the album name gives. It gives depth. It's pushing through rough times. Tremaine the album, pushing your own agenda against status quo life like a striking rock. Establishing your own things when life didn't afford you anyway. You made your own way. Tremaine the album, pushing your own agenda against status quo life like a striking rock. And that proves my point. They are the people who create the flow. They don't go with the flow. They create the flow of how things should go. Okay? That's the essence of what I expected on Tremaine the album. But it didn't come through. Are there not things in the world that bother them, that they want to talk about in the music? Like the norms of life's sufferings. Does it bother them to the point that they want to talk about it in the music? Like anything that burns inside about the human experience that you want to talk about on the music. That's what we need to hear. And they used to talk about that, and that's where they got us from. The bottom. Because they used to talk about things at the bottom. Okay. Back home. Back home. Being an OG fan, here I was already disconnected. Okay? Like, I don't want to be disconnected from my musicians. I don't want to be disconnected from my artist. Like, I should not be feeling like this. I'm an OG fan. I should not be feeling like this, right? Like, I should be excited that we have a new album, well, in 2020. But I tried, and it wasn't happening as a fan. Like, as someone who loves music also, I still couldn't connect. Like, it was like I was knocked completely off Trey's music world. I was knocked completely off. Something wasn't there, okay? Okay. Back home. Did they say anything about us in the album? Maybe I kind of knew, like, they were not going to talk to us in the album. Like, it would be their perspective of their life only. And, like, they wouldn't say anything to us at all. You know, and back home, like, we can appreciate the voice, the musical arrangement, the integrity of the production, the composition of the song, you know, because those are always excellent. But I knew it may not have spoken or communicated to global fans like me. They did not come back for us in the music. I think that's what it is. So we don't know how to engage with the album or interact with the music. How do we integrate this to our life when they only talk about their things and their life? Do you understand? I tried with all this love. On Back Home, I tried with all this love. This is the only song I tried with. And this is the type of music where his voice sounds the best. The old school R&B, his voice, the production. Like, it's anatomically beautiful, and we need this kind of music from them. But the connection wasn't there. I wish I could connect to the song as a fan, because it's so beautiful, and it's the kind of sound that we want to hear from them. And I should not be feeling disconnected from the music as an OG fan. I know that this also happens with me and other musicians' albums sometimes, so it's not uncommon for me to experience a disconnect. But I'm an OG fan, okay? Why can I not connect with my artist being an OG fan? Let me remind you, I did not come here by myself. I did not come here arbitrarily. They got us from the bottom of the world. So I have to do my due diligence because I want to be friends with the music again. If it was anyone else, I would not go to these lengths to get us exquisite music. I would not go to these lengths to fight for relatable music from them. Okay. Where do I get my attitude from? Who told us to check for more than stilettos? And now he's not giving us more than stilettos. If he didn't show us where he comes from, I would not be helping us like this. I would not. Am I being hard? Am I being hard again? Okay, I know what they are capable of when they're focused and the quality of writing and sound they can make for us. And I don't want the world to miss out on brilliant music because they're being lazy with the writing and the storytelling and the sounds. Like, music bullet. A music bullet went through my soul. And I can't let this go. Like, the world needs to see what I see. They need to hear what I hear. Like, outside of God, like, the only beautiful thing we have in the external is R&B music and beautiful voices. Like, I'm fighting for something here. Okay? Like, I will be the voice in the darkness for them. And I'll tell them we need them to get up because they were the voice in the darkness for us as kids. They are the examples. Okay? Do you see how much of distress I'm in? Do you see how distressed I am that I can't connect to the music? Like, do you see how difficult this is for me as a fan? Even as someone who loves beautiful music, do you know how difficult this is? To be so disconnected. That means there is a real problem with connecting to the music. Okay?